Hey, this is Matt from Custom Car Grills with a grill install for the 2019 and newer Ford Ranger. For this install, the stock grill needs to be removed from the truck first. Also, the center section will need to be removed, and to get that started, I'll grab an open-ended saw blade like this one. The innermost area needs to be cut, but I'm staying about a 1/4 inch away from the edge so that I don't dig into it too much. For the center support on the lower edge, I'll actually leave as much of that as possible because it will be used later as an anchor point. The last of the main center section cuts should be made on the area that separates the side sections. From there, I found that using a Dremel with a cutoff wheel on the back of the grill is more effective. The Dremel bit that I like to use the most is the number 543 cutting and shaping wheel. Like with the other center section, I'm trying to stay about a 1/4 inch away from the edge. With all the proper cuts made, the entire inner part of the grill will lift out like so. Next, I'm going to need to grab some tape, no wider than 3/4 of an inch. The new grill's hardware needs to be installed at a very consistent fixed depth. A tape slightly skinnier can be used, but something under a 1/2 inch wide is not recommended. I'll lay my 3/4 inch tape right up to where it's touching the inner edge, where it starts to curve outward. We need to go all the way around the grill shell with the tape. The only exception is with the protruding center section on the lower edge. After it's all taped up, then I'll grab a high contrasting marker like this silver Sharpie. Then it's just a matter of marking the spot where the tape and grill meet in the inner section. When that's complete, the tape can be removed and I'm left with a very clear line to cut on. Again, this needs to be no more than 3/4 of an inch and no less than a 1/2 inch deep. Something slightly over maybe like 5/8 is probably ideal. Once I'm satisfied with the depth of the line, then I'll get to work cutting it out. The Dremel and cutoff wheel combo is being used again, and this will make short work of these cuts. For advanced installers, areas where the brackets go are technically the only areas that need to be notched out. Cutting the entire way around makes for an easier install for owners who may be new to these types of mods. Some of the cuts are easier to do from the front, and some are better to cut on the back, so adjust accordingly. If any edges are stuck and not coming out properly, it's probably because there's some thin plastic fins or some plastic framework that's still attached. I found that I needed to get my handsaw out a couple times to fully detach some of these areas. With all that cutting done, let's now take a look at the grill that we have for sale on our website. This is a stainless steel, laser cut, and powder coated grill. We're really going all out on this one. Also included are 15 stainless brackets, 16 stainless nylon lock nuts and bolts, along with 16 plastic washers. Now, this grill should drop right into place as seen here, and then it will need to be centered up a little bit. Once it's good, then the first bolt to install is on the lower edge in the center, where there should still be some solid area. I like to mark this area with a sharp point, but the marker that was used earlier can also get the job done. Then, I'll remove the new grill section for a moment and set it off to the side. Using a drill equipped with a 1/4 inch drill bit, I'll make a hole right where that mark was that I just made. Once the hole is made, then the grill can be put back into place. Using the included hardware, I'll feed the plastic washer on the bolt and then feed the bolt through the grill. With a view from the back of the grill, we can see that all I need to do now is thread on the nylon lock nut. A 7/16 inch deep well socket will help drive this nut until it's tight, along with holding the bolt head steady with a hex wrench. Then, for each of the other mounting holes, I'll slide a plastic washer on a bolt and then feed the bolt through the hole. Now it's time to start using the 90-degree bent brackets. The pre-made hole goes through the bolt, and the bent part goes towards the front of the grill and should be making solid contact with the grill. A nut can be threaded on and then firmly fastened, but it's important not to over-tighten anything so that it doesn't distort any of the components. I'll repeat this step all the way around the grill perimeter until I have it securely fastened. I do want to also note some areas where the mounting brackets will run into problems. The center of the upper edge has some fins here that will need to be cut back a little bit. Also, the upper corners need to be shaved back a little bit too. Using the top of the shaping wheel with the Dremel is going to be the best tool for that job. Lastly, some of the lower push tab areas need a small cutout to allow for the mounting bracket to pass through. Again, the Dremel and cutoff wheel will make short work of this. Here's a quick shot of the back of my install. There's a few things that I want to note about this whole install. First of all, these brackets should be orientated parallel to the inner edge. Secondly, the brackets should not be tilting downward in a manner where the far edge on the bolt side is lifting off of the grill. If anything, with the correct cuts made, the far edge of the bracket where the bolt side is, that should be facing ever so slightly inward. Lastly, make sure that the bracket tab by the bolt is grabbing onto enough of the edge so that it will properly hold the grill in place. Safety is our #1 priority, so if long-term durability of the positioning is a concern, then a dab of adhesive on the brackets to the grill is recommended. Now that this install is complete, let's turn this grill assembly around and see how it looks. Wow, this is a really big difference when compared to the stock grill. Overall, this is a much more aggressive look, and while the install is a little tedious in some areas, it really doesn't take that long to do. Well, that's all I've got for this video. If you have any questions about the install or any of our others, then feel free to contact us, and thanks for watching.